Tax season used to terrify me as a solo founder, not because of taxes themselves, but because I used to always procrastinate on months of bookkeeping. Bank statements, invoices, receipts, all needing manual categorization and data entry. So I built Sterling, the most complex automation system I've built for myself. 6 workflows working together that automatically ingest financial documents, extract data, categorize everything, flag items for my review, and export a clean Google Sheet for my accountant. This is the system I actually use to keep track of all my business expenses. This case study is for you if you're drowning in financial documents and expense tracking. Tax season means scrambling to categorize months of transactions. You're manually entering data from bank statements into spreadsheets. You need organized financial records for your accountant, but the manual work is overwhelming. If that sounds familiar, Sterling demonstrates the kind of complex multi-workflow automation that can transform tedious business operations. Let me show you what my bookkeeping looked like before using Sterling. Every month, I had bank statements as PDFs, invoices from vendors, receipts for business expenses, and tax documents which all needed to be tracked for my accountant. The manual process was painful. I downloaded bank statements and manually entered every transaction to a spreadsheet. I looked at each charge and tried to remember, was that charge for hosting or testing, or was that meal with a client or personal? I collected physical receipts and invoices, manually entered the details as vendor name, amount, date, and category, and kept everything organized in a format my accountant could actually use. The worst part was, I'd procrastinate because this was all tedious. Then tax season would arrive and I'd be scrambling to process months of transactions at once. As someone building automation for clients, I was embarrassed that my own bookkeeping was so manual. I needed a system that could handle this automatically while keeping me in control. Here's what I built. Sterling is actually 6 separate workflows that work together as a complete system. Let me walk you through how they connect. First is the Ingestion Hub, the entry point. I email documents to a dedicated address or upload to Google Drive. It handles any financial document. Next is the data extraction, which uses AI-powered document processing to extract structured data from PDFs and images. This includes information like vendor names, amounts, dates, and transaction descriptions. Following that is a bank transaction parser, which specifically handles bank statements, parsing each transaction line item. After that is the classification engine, where the intelligence really lives. An AI agent categorizes each transaction and flags uncertain ones. After that is a manual review notification. When the engine isn't confident, it emails me, and I can quickly review and correct. Finally is the export to Google Sheets, which takes all processed, categorized transactions and exports them to a clean sheet for my accountant to use. The entire system runs automatically. I just feed it documents and review flagged items. It starts with the Ingestion Hub. I have a dedicated Gmail address for Sterling. I forward bank statements, invoices, or receipts to that address and the workflow triggers. The hub identifies what type of document it is, whether a bank statement, invoice, receipt, or tax document, and routes it to the appropriate processing workflow. It handles the file format conversion if needed and stores the original in a Supabase database. This means I can process documents from my phone while traveling. I can also email a receipt photo to Sterling and it's automatically processed. Once ingested, documents go to data extraction. This workflow uses AI document processing to pull structured data from unstructured documents. For invoices, this includes vendor name, invoice number, date, total amount, and line items. For receipts, this includes merchant name, date, amount, payment method. And for bank statements, this includes account number, date range, and every transaction line. The bank transaction parser specifically handles statement PDFs, parsing each transaction into date, description, amount, debit, or credit. A single statement might have 50 to 100 transactions. All of this extracted data flows into the database with processing status markers so the system knows what still needs to be categorized. The AI-powered classification is where Sterling gets intelligent. The classification engine pulls uncategorized transactions and sends them to an AI agent. The agent has knowledge about my business, what expense categories I use, which vendors are recurring, and patterns from past transactions. It looks at the transaction description and amount and assigns it a category. The key confidence is scoring. If it's highly confident, like recognizing AWS as software subscription, it categorizes automatically. If it's uncertain, like an ambiguous restaurant charge, it flags it for manual review. This handles 80% of transactions that are straightforward automatically and services the 20% that need my judgment. The manual review notifications workflow checks for flagged items and emails me a list. I click through, see the transaction details, and provide the correct category. The system learns from these corrections. Once everything is categorized, the export to Google Sheets workflow runs. It generates a clean, organized spreadsheet, grouped by month, categorized by expense type, with source document references formatted for my accountant. At tax time, I just hand the spreadsheet to my accountant. All the tedious categorization work has been handled automatically throughout the year. Now for the part that's usually not in demos. For my actual routine, at the end of each month, I forward my bank statements to Sterling's email address. And throughout the month, I forward receipts and invoices as I get them. The system processes everything automatically. But maybe once or twice a month, I'll get an email saying X transactions need review. And this usually happens when I have to make purchases that weren't previously defined before. This causes me to spend 10 to 15 minutes recategorizing all the new uncertain ones, but the system remembers my choices. Instead of scrambling to process months of transactions, I just export the Google Sheet. My accountant gets a clean, categorized record of every business expense for the whole year. The realistic impact is that this hasn't eliminated all bookkeeping work, but it's reduced manual data from several hours per month to 10 to 15 minutes of reviewing flagged items. More importantly, it's consistent, and I'm actually tracking expenses throughout the year now and not procrastinating until tax season. As a solo founder or small business owner, you can't avoid bookkeeping, but you also can't afford to spend hours every month on manual data entry. Sterling shows a different approach. Automate the ingestion. Use AI to categorize. Surface only the edge cases for human review. This same architecture works for any business with high volume document processing, contracts, applications, compliance documents, and customer submissions. You don't need to manually process every document. You need automated extraction with intelligent categorization and manual review only for uncertain cases. This works especially well for service businesses tracking expenses and invoices, companies processing high volumes of similar documents, operations requiring data extraction and categorization, and businesses transforming unstructured documents into structured data. Reach out on my website and we can discuss what document processing is currently consuming your team's time, what level of automation makes sense for your volume, whether AI categorization will work for your use case, and what a realistic timeline and investment would look like. Sterling took about 2 to 3 weeks to build. This isn't a weekend project, it's the kind of system that requires proper architecture and planning. But for the right use case, the ROI is substantial. I built this because I genuinely needed it, and I use it for my actual business operations. If you have similar needs, let's talk about building your version and how to make your business work smarter, not harder.